Hello friends. Today, we are going to visit yet another historical monument of Mandu, the Baz Bahadur Palace. Baz Bahadur Palace, the hilltop fortress in Malwa, is worth visiting in Mandu of Madhya Pradesh. Mandu is very famous for its rich heritage, architecture, and brilliant folklores about Baz Bahadur and Rani Roopmati. The palace consists of tall and very sleek arches that will give you a glimpse of the ancient craftsmanship. The twin-storied palace is well connected with broad steps and some of the landing intervals. The Baz Bahadur Palace lies on the hill slope to the east of Rewakund and is set in the midst of picturesque verdure. Tall, sleek arches welcome us at the entrance to the twin-storied palace, which is accessed by well-laid broad steps with landings at intervals. In its days of glory, an aqueduct ran on top of the arches, transporting water from Rewakund, the adjoining tank, to the pool in the palace courtyard. The water would be drawn upwards by Persian wheels that were powered by animals. An inscription in Persian on the arch states that the palace was built in 1508 by Nasiruddin. Incidentally, Nasiruddin Shah Khilji, the Sultan of Malwa, is credited with designing this aesthetic structure, which underwent repairs and renovations during the period of Baz Bahadur. Big courtyards and high terraces are distinct aspects of the palace that is an aesthetic blend of Mughal and Rajput architectural styles. Halls and rooms with arched gates skirt the huge courtyard, which is adorned by a stunning cistern with crystal clear water in the center. The terrace of the palace is further adorned with a couple of chakris or elevated domed pavilions. One of the big rooms, that even today has astounding natural acoustics, served as the music and dance hall of the palace. Many Bollywood movies have been shot at this location, which is considered as one of the most romantic places in India's tourism calendar. Being somewhat isolated, Mandu retains much of its aura, offering a splendid backdrop to the romantic legend of Baz Bahadur and Roopmati. Mayan Bazid Baz Bahadur Khan, 1555 to 1562, succeeded his father Shuja Khan and was known to be the last independent ruler of Malwa Kingdom. He is believed to have fallen in love with Roopmati, a singer of Rajput origin, and married her according to Muslim and Hindu rites. The story goes that while out on a hunting trip, Baz Bahadur happened to see a shepherdess singing with her friends. It was love at first sight. Totally smitten by Roopmati's beauty and melodious voice, he begged her to marry him and accompany him to his capital. After much cajoling, Roopmati agreed to go on condition that Baz Bahadur would build a palace specially for her, from where she would be able to view and offer her prayers to her venerated river Narmada. Living up to his promise, Baz Bahadur gave her a splendid palace and a special pavilion from where the river could be viewed in all its glory. Located on an isolated outcrop of a 20 square kilometer plateau with deep ravines, the Mandu fort looks formidable, separated in the north by a deep valley, while the southern end is a sheer drop to the plains below. In local parlance, Mandu is referred to as the City of Joy. The original fortress was built by Raja Bhoj in the 10th century, the same ruler after whom the city of Bhopal has been named. History states that when the Mughals invaded and took over Delhi in 1401, the Afghan governor of Malwa, Dilawar Singh, decided to set up his own kingdom with its capital at Mandu. After him, his son Hoshan Shah ruled with considerable style and added other numerous buildings within the fort. Several more changes took place after Baz Bahadur's taking over power in 1554. To ensure that Roopmati's palace, which was near the river, received sufficient water, Baz Bahadur built a huge water tank, the enormous Rewakund. Though the palace was constructed in 1508, the tank Rewakund was built later by Baz Bahadur. A special water lift was built to ensure that sufficient water reached his palace. The palace itself is a splendid blend of Rajasthani and Mughal styles of architecture. According to the Persian inscriptions on the arch, the Mandu Baz Bahadur's palace was constructed in 1508 by Nasiruddin. The remaining structure required some repairs during the rule of Baz Bahadur. This is the reason why the architecture of this palace reflects an interesting amalgamation of Mughal and Rajput architecture style. Rupmati's pavilion is located at the very edge of the fort, overlooking the plains and offering the promised view of the river Narmada below. With the new palace ready by then, Sultan Baz Bahadur, who remained in deep love with Rupmati, began to spend most of his time with her, neglecting the administration of his kingdom. As a result, Mandu became prone to attacks from other rulers, including Mughal Emperor Akbar's forces. Akbar's army led by Azam Khan and Pir Muhammad Khan finally managed to defeat Baz Bahadur in the Battle of Saranpur on 29 March 1561. Having come with the hope of seeing the location and the backdrop to the romantic legend of Baz Bahadur and Rupmati, one departs unhappy from here. This romantic story has a sad and tragic end. When Akbar's team marched with his army into the fort, Baz Bahadur fled like a coward and appeared to have no qualms about leaving Rupmati behind. Rani Rupmati chose to poison herself rather than falling into the hands of the enemy. Let's know something about the architecture of the palace. The halls and rooms of Mandu Baz Bahadur's palace have an arched gate, which skirts the huge courtyard. The spot can be adored due to the addition of a stunning cistern with a crystal clear water place at the center. The adornment doesn't just end there. The palace is further adorned with maximum chhatris or many uplifted domed pavilions. There is a huge room in this palace which now serves as a room to practice music and dance. Until and unless you have a little background to this incredible location, you will not be able to get the real beauty of this historic monument. The beauty and brilliance of the architecture of Mandu Baz Bahadur's palace will surely mesmerize you. Some more interesting facts of the palace are: the architectural details in this place have some Islamic background. Because this place was ruled by Muslim rulers during that time and for many decades. This is the only architecture from the ancient time which has grown immense popularity over the years. It has now become one of the most visited monuments. Baz Bahadur spent a very short period of time during his rule, which was from 1555 to 1561. However, he was still able to rebuild this palace long before his rule was over. You will also come across an octagonal porch that overlooks a garden. There is another attraction in the name of the terrace in the palace, which is located in the southern face. The terrace has two baradaries which offer an enchanting view of the remaining area. If you are planning for Mandu, then don't forget to visit Baz Bahadur's palace in Mandu to explore the architecture of the palace. Apart from the beauty of this structure, you will also be able to explore some of the surrounding locations which are equally beautiful and preserved for tourist visits. And some of which are Shiv Palace, Jahaz Mahal, Rani Rupmati Pavilion, Hindola Mahal, Nilkant Mandir, Kakra Ko Waterfall, Ocean Chatu, the Bazaars of Mandu. All of these places have historical importance and brilliant architecture to attract tourists throughout the year. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon. For more updates, please visit my webpage at https://margaya.wordpress.com.